Margaret Collins, Maggie, walked into Boston Luxury Motors wearing jeans and a white t-shirt. At 35, she was founder of the Collins Foundation for Children with Disabilities, though her modest appearance revealed nothing of her wealth. She'd come to buy a midnight blue coupe for her sister's 40th birthday. Sales manager Blake Thompson intercepted her, smirking at her casual clothes. "Looking for directions, ma'am?" Maggie pointed to the $285,000 Azure. "I'm interested in that midnight blue coupe." Blake's smile tightened. "That's by appointment only. Perhaps our used car division, 3 blocks east." A well-dressed couple entered. Blake's demeanor transformed instantly as he led them directly to the same car he'd claimed was appointment only. "Excuse me," Maggie said calmly. "I was hoping to inquire about purchasing this model." Blake's face reddened. "This vehicle is being shown to these customers. Perhaps you could come back another time." "I'm prepared to make a cash purchase today," Maggie stated. Blake laughed harshly. "A cash purchase? We're talking about $250,000. People who can afford these cars don't dress like." He gestured dismissively at her outfit. The dealership owner Richard Mason approached. Blake explained he was dealing with someone who didn't understand their exclusivity. "If you're genuinely interested," Blake said condescendingly, "call for an appointment. But I'd suggest bringing proof of funds and dressing the part. These cars are for a certain class of people." Maggie walked out with dignity intact, but spirits bruised. Behind her, Blake's voice carried, "Some people just don't know their place." At home, Maggie recounted the experience to her husband Alexander, a tech billionaire who'd revolutionized renewable energy storage. "It's not about me," she said. "But how many people face that judgment without any recourse?" Together, they crafted a plan, not for revenge, but for enlightenment. The next morning, a custom Rolls-Royce Phantom worth over $1.2 million pulled up to the dealership. Alexander Collins emerged, impeccably dressed. Blake rushed forward. "Blake Thompson, sales manager. What brings you here today?" "Actually, I'm here about the Azure Coupe. My wife was here yesterday expressing interest." Margaret Collins. She was wearing jeans and a white t-shirt. "You suggested she look at used cars." Blake's face went pale. Richard Mason approached nervously as Alexander explained how Maggie had been treated. Daniel, the young salesman, spoke up. "Miss Collins was treated poorly. She was polite and specific, and was dismissed repeatedly based on her appearance." Alexander continued. "My wife founded and runs the Collins Foundation for Children with Disabilities. She's raised over $50 million. She dresses simply because she believes in living modestly despite our means. I was planning to purchase the Azure and was considering a fleet replacement, 7 vehicles, plus updating my personal collection. However, I'm questioning whether this is the right establishment." Richard Mason paled at the magnitude of lost business. "Perhaps there is a way forward," Alexander said. "The Collins Foundation is hosting a benefit gala next month. Blake, I think your presence as a volunteer would be educational. To assist the children, to see firsthand the work being done." He also suggested bias training for the dealership staff. Turning to Daniel, Alexander said, "I'd like you to handle all the paperwork, starting with the Azure." 1 month later at the Foundation Gala, Blake, in staff uniform, assisted children with disabilities. The experience had changed him profoundly. Maggie approached him. "How are you finding the experience?" "Humbling," Blake answered. "And necessary. I need to say it directly," Blake continued. "I'm truly sorry for how I treated you." "The question is what you've learned," Maggie replied. "That worth isn't determined by appearance, position, or possessions. That everyone deserves respect until they prove otherwise." Alexander joined them. "I hear you've become quite involved with the adaptive sports program." "Yes, sir. I've signed up to continue volunteering after my required period. And I've been working with Mr. Mason on revamping our customer approach. No more qualifying by appearance." "Which reminds me," Alexander said, "that corporate fleet I mentioned, we're still in the market. Perhaps you could handle that transaction." Blake's expression registered shock before settling into genuine gratitude. Later, watching the Collins work the room, Blake reflected on how completely his perception had been transformed. A month ago, he would have dismissed Maggie based on casual appearance. Now he understood that true value ran deeper than designer labels or luxury cars. As he helped young Thomas into his wheelchair, the boy grinned. You know what, Mr. Blake? You're pretty cool for a grown-up. Blake smiled. Coming from you, Thomas, that's the highest compliment I've received in a very long time. And he meant it.